Coverage you can count on.
If you watch 3+U on a regular basis, no doubt you've noticed that very often we have senior independent living facilities on the show, and that's a great thing to bring to your attention, but choosing the right one for you can sometimes be a daunting task. So enter Horizon Advisors. I've got Jen Schaefer and Laura Grothaus. Good to see you both on the show.
Thanks for having us.
And you began this about a year or so ago, so congratulations to you for getting a new business off the ground during COVID. Especially one that's dealing and helping place people in independent living facilities, because that would have been, I would think, an exceptional challenge.
Yes. Certainly was.
Yes.
It was interesting.
So I met them literally 15 minutes ago for the first time, and when I met them, I said, "Listen, I know you've got your own ideas of what you want to talk about, but, I told you, I think I would trust you with everything from babysitting my child to helping me eat a healthier lifestyle." You can tell in talking to the two of you that this is a passion, that you want to help people. So I'll throw it to you to kind of lead the way on how this all got started.
Okay. Thanks, Julie, for having us.
Yeah.
Well, Laura and I met at a Bible study a few years ago, and one day I came in and just shared that my father-in-law was going through some health changes, and significant health changes, dementia, and he actually brought up the conversation with our family that he wanted to move from being alone to somewhere else, either our home or an assisted living. He was in Boston at the time, so it was a little bit complicated, but Laura actually offered to come over and just give me some tips because she has a background in senior living. And so that started. And my father-in-law ultimately did move into an assisted living. And by the first month, at the end of the first month, he was being called mayor. He had a great experience. And, but it was a very stressful and complicated process for our family. I'm making it seem easy, but Laura's help was one piece of the puzzle, but we also used a professional in Boston who helped us navigate the senior living world there and determine what was the best place for him to live. And Horizon Advisors basically is seeking to serve seniors in that same way, to step into an often stressful situation and narrow down their options.
The options are vast. I think you were
Yes.
telling me, Laura, there are 50 plus choices in Chattanooga alone.
Yes. And growing. So there's a lot of options, and for us to be able to step in is really helpful. And essentially what that looks like is we'll get a call and we'll listen to that family story. We'll hear what's going on, ask them a bunch of detailed questions to help narrow down what are you looking for, what's important to you, what can you afford, what kind of care do you need. And we narrow down your options to what we consider your top ones in town. We'll create a spreadsheet to compare the information, to keep information organized for you, schedule the visit, go on the visit with you, and then just sort of help guide you all the way from the tour to move-in day with helping find movers or whatever you need. We kind of help you move into the next steps.
And Jen, did I hear you correctly that of these 50 plus and growing, you've actually been to visit all of them, so you know with your own eyes and your own conversations how you're then advising people?
Yes, Julie, we visited, that was the beginning of our business. We visited all 50.
Well, certainly the majority. It got
Yeah.
hard when COVID
Yeah, some of the
started.
smaller, there are some smaller group homes that have been very, very careful during COVID, so we actually haven't visited a couple of the smaller ones. But we've walked through and seen the staff and, you know, smelled the smells and talked to some of the residents and been able to really get a feel for some of these communities.
I guess, is this a true thing that often when you're helping people in this situation, you're talking most directly with the children and not the individual senior, him or herself?
The adult child is mostly who we visit with, but sometimes there's a spouse who's acting as a caregiver, and so we will work with them too at times. It just sort of depends, but I would say mostly it is the adult child.
So I'm sure that you've become pretty expert in dealing with sibling groups, each of whom has his or her own thought coming into the conversation.
It does get complicated when lots of opinions enter in, but we kind of act as your mediator to help really listen and hearing each person. What are they looking for? What's important? So when we are narrowing down, we're keeping all the opinions in mind.
Yeah.
I like what you said about you ask about their price point, you know, what their budget is. Maybe people make an assumption that if they don't have a lot of money, this is not an option for them. That's not necessarily true.
No, there's all price ranges in town. I think depending upon the type of care you need, the level of care that community offers, how fancy is it, sometimes the price does change. I think most people should expect anywhere from $2,000, $2,500 to $5,500. So
A month, yeah.
A month,
month,
yeah.
yeah.
So in your father-in-law's case, Jen, you said he took the steps to say, I want to
Yes.
make the switch. What a gift you got. Often I'm guessing there's kind of a panic button pressed where there's a need
Right.
and you've got to meet it quickly.
Right. Yeah, we encourage families, the adult child or the spouse who might be caregiving. We encourage families to talk. One of the things we see in our work is that often people call us when there is an emergency and there hasn't been a conversation, a planning conversation. And so, yes, it was unique that my father-in-law started the conversation. I think he was a planner, and that's probably like 10% of our clients are looking forward, and it's a helpful thing. Go ahead.
No, you finish.
Well, I was just going to say, I think in this world, we're all looking towards the same, goal.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all aging. And some people might be thinking, this is not in my future. I want to stay home as long as possible. And we totally respect that some people want to stay home. You said your mother is
Yeah.
happily at home. And, I think if it's something that you want to consider, maybe it's in your 3 or 4 or 6 month range, we encourage you to call us because, some people already know that they're not feeling safe. Like my father-in-law, he knew he couldn't remember how to boil some water, and it's just, some people know and want to engage the conversation.
Well, okay, to that end, that's what I was going to ask you actually when I kept interrupting you rudely, was if you think that this might be something that you're going to want to consider for your parent, can you call, y'all could give adult children, some options that you think would be a good fit, then they can go visit or contact those facilities and kind of see and then come back to you and learn more?
Well, they can. We do like to be able to be with them through the whole process.
Okay.
We do feel like there's a lot of value in us walking with you through it. But yeah, they're welcome to call and just do a visit and hear their story and help them.
In terms of the placing, often I think a concern for people is they know now which one they want to go to, but there are no spaces. Is that again where navigating through y'all can help, because you might have an inside track to know that there's going to be a bed or apartment available in the next 2 months, or?
Well, it depends on the community. If there's a wait list, we don't have control of how far back in the wait list you are, but we do keep in touch with all the salespeople and know, okay, we're going to have a 2-bedroom coming up. So yes, we can help certainly in that way.
And in terms of preparation before they call you for the first time and set up a meeting, good idea to really sit down and put some pen to paper about your parents' personality, your spouse's personality, their hobbies, etc., what your health concerns are. That way y'all know as much as you can quickly.
Yes, yeah, I think that's wise. And like you mentioned, I think just talking as a family or the spouse caring, I think it's helpful to just really, have a honest conversation, encouraging your spouse or your mom to just consider the possibility of working together.
And I guess last question, again, your personalities come through to me. So do y'all ever have time during the week where you realize that even though the office day has come to an end, you're still thinking about that one particular client who needs you?
Yeah, we form a connection with every family we visit, especially when they share their story with us. They let us enter into what's going on, and it does bond you, and you feel very intentional about doing the right thing and taking care of them.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I did not know y'all were even in business here in Chattanooga, and I bet a lot of other people didn't either. So these are tricky times to be trying to find your way in to an independent living situation. So great time to put them in your Rolodex, if you will, and give them a call when you need it. Horizon Advisors, they will do meetings in person when you can, but
when they're comfortable, or by phone, either one.
you're happy to meet them at their need.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you.